Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Mad Hatter Radio, and welcome to this inverted, distorted version of reality that we call life. This go around, I want to talk about something that I'm kind of excited to talk about. I've been wanting to come on YouTube and say something about this. This thing that we call, I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you guys are active on Instagram, all you got to do is, one light skin or any chick on Instagram, like her picture, black chick, white chick, whatever, Asian, some racially ambiguous woman, like her picture, and you'll see a bunch of these pictures pop up. But there's this new trend that's going on called Blackfishing, kind of like catfishing, but instead of tricking people through gender, you trick people racially. So there's these white girls or European, but they're basically not of Native American, Asian, Hispanic, or black. They're usually European, or whatever you want to call them, Caucasus area people, and they are basically blackening themselves or darkening themselves in a way that makes them look racially ambiguous. And they're doing this, why? That's the big question. I'm going to hit several different points on this, but really, so the main thing is I think that I'm going to talk about why I think it's starting and why it's happening, and then I'm going to talk about what it all means all together, right? But this is basically happening, in my opinion, because, women tend to be hive-minded. They follow the herd. They're that's just kind of their nature. They follow trends. They're more social than men tend to be. Not all women, obviously, but the feminine energy and most women, human females, act like this. So I think they're blackening themselves because they're following the Kardashians. I mean, let's be honest. The Kardashians are the most popular people in the world. Kim Kardashian has the most followers on Instagram. And who is she? Her background is, I think Armenian or something like that. I could be wrong, but it's basically like Eastern European, basically like nomadic gypsy type people. People who were those people back in the day. That's her family ancestry. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not hating on that. That's fine. Enjoy your ancestry. Be proud of it. But the Kardashians are known to, basically do their thing because they date black men, and they date really popular black men, really successful, hardworking, talented black men, and that's who they date. And it kind of puts them on, Kim Kardashian was messing around with Ray J, and that's how she got on. Obviously, her father was Rob Kardashian in the O.J. Simpson trial, so they already had some clout, but that's really how she got big, by basically fucking a black guy. So essentially, the Kardashians got big by BBCs, by playing with BBCs. So women now see that, and they want to get clout. They want to get that money. They want to get paid. They want to be popular, so they're going to follow suit. That's what women are doing. So essentially what white women are doing, though, is coming into black spaces. So to black women, this means that they're competing with you now more than ever, and it's up to y'all to start calling these white women out. It's definitely up to black men, but it's also up to y'all to start calling these women out, because everybody talks about how the black man, is all souped up. He puts white women on a pedestal. Yeah, some black guys do that. But look at the length that white women are going to just to be with black men. Look at this. They have to disguise themselves, right? That's what they have to do, because they can't get black men off being their own. I'm talking about these specific women. These specific women that are doing this blackfishing can't get black men based on their personality, based on who they are. They have to hide their identity to infiltrate. You know what I mean? It's very deceptive in nature. So, again, do black men get caught up with white women? Yes, but so do black women. All women around the world, because white women is basically the top of society's hierarchy, in my opinion. White dudes want to be with them. Everybody wants to be with them. Every man wants to be with them, and then every woman wants to be them, for the most part, in some way. So, yes, black men need to call them out, but black women also need to call these white women out. because this is getting out of hand, you know. And it's look, I will say overall, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not talking about, you know, racial mixture being a bad thing. What I'm talking about is what they're doing, the means in which they're doing this to get black men. And really, you have to think about it too. Are they getting black men? Because I don't even think they care about black men. They just wanted to, you know, up their social status. But really, is it a way that, like, is this their way of actually showing hate toward black women? Because really what it's saying is that, like, black women, we don't respect you. We're going to take your man, right? So that is an interesting point too. But it's not necessarily a bad thing overall, only if they are mostly appropriating the culture, meaning that they're not contributing for the betterment, you know, of the marginalized group in which black people are. Rachel Dolezal is a complicated situation. You know, I don't like how she took away opportunities from black women, but for the most part, I think that she put herself inside the culture. You know, she embedded herself within the culture, and she did some good things for black people. She did. I think she really does want to help. It's just the way that she went about it, I think, was wrong. So that's why this whole thing is like, this is a really interesting thing that's going on in society to me. It really is. Another point I want to make is, you know, all of society, if you really think about it, even like white guys, even though I do think most white guys still like white women, but most of society, I think, likes this kind of ambiguous woman, this ambiguously raced woman, you know, whatever her race is, you can't really tell. She looks kind of mixed or biracial, triracial, whatever you want to call it. She looks like that, right? And again, what this means, man, is that black women got to step up. And it also means that there's more competition. So black women are going to have to change their standards up too. Like, I'm not saying all black women, but there's a good amount of black women that, you know, have really, really tough standards. And my thing is like, look, black women don't want to get out. They don't want to get in their bag. They don't want to do that at all. They don't want to spend on nothing. And they don't want to change nothing up. Because black women are some of the most you can't tell me-ish type of women on the planet. And my thing is like, all right, I might not be able to tell you nothing. But if you don't heed warning, you're going to be a cat lady. But I do think too that, okay, so earlier I was saying how, you know, this overall might not be a bad thing, right? It's not necessarily a bad thing of races, different races mixing. But here's where it could be kind of nefarious. Because at a time when our president is more racialized than ever, I don't know, whatever. I think he's racist. I know it's hard to prove that to some people, but we can definitely say he's very racialized. Like, he's very aware of the different colors of people in different races. He's aware of that. And at a time like that, I don't see white women coming to the defense of people of color, especially men of color. So that's why I say to my black men out there, to my brothers, be careful. You know, use your big head every once in a while, please. You know, and could this overall also be like some weird plot to whiten blacks to where we don't have a lot of black people left because we're so mixed with everybody else? I mean, think about it. At a time when white people, their populations are declining, right? So you know that they're for the first time in history, there's actually a negative birth rate of white Americans. So you know that they are aware of that. If I'm aware of that, trust me, they're aware of that. So isn't it kind of coincidental? You think it's just a coincidence that all of a sudden now these white women are trying to infiltrate into black spaces and disrespect black women and try to, you know, manipulate black men? It's definitely something to think about. Now, another thing too, like, I'm not going to paint a brush and say all white women are like this, but I've met some desirable white women, some very, very desirable, beautiful white women, and they're some of the most psychotic people that I've been around. Women, for the most part, are crazy, but, you know, one of the reasons why I always want to be with the black girl, because for the most part, black women are much more logical than other races, in my opinion. Maybe Asian and Latinas as well. But I would say, like, maybe, like, in my opinion, I think black women and Asian women are some of the most, like, logical, more down-to-earth women. You know, I know I said earlier that like black Asian Asian women don't do it for me, but that's just, you know, physically, that like the way they look. But overall, like their culture and who they are and how they think, you know, I prefer black women and women who are a little bit more conservative. And in my opinion, I think that white women are out of their minds, man. And when they want something, man, they really go after it, and they will do anything to get it. And if they don't get their way, it is World War Z. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I think the fact that people do want to be like us, we should take pride in that as black people. To look at the length that white women will go to be with a black man, maybe black women, this will wake black women up, and they'll start to see the value in the black man. Because these white women see value in us. So it's time for black women to start seeing some value in us. Because I know a lot of black women that see niggas as, you know, ain't shit niggas. Like, niggas ain't shit. And it's like, all right, man. Because you can go after those white dudes, but white guys don't play. White girls don't play when it comes to their women, you know. So, you know, either you deal with black men or you deal with white women, white men. But I don't think that it's going to be easy dealing with white women. It's not going to be easy dealing with white men as a black woman. I've done a video about this. I'll link to that video too about what I think about that. You should check that out. But yeah, white dudes don't play. So again, this is not necessarily black men going out of our way to go for white women. I mean, look at what white women are doing. You know, it's actually quite the opposite. And this shows, does this mean that black women are devaluing us? Because other races are starting to see that there's some value in us, especially because I want to end this point on this. Our culture is becoming the hip hop culture. Hip hop is becoming the culture. You know what I mean? Like, look at Fortnite video games and these dances, the most popular game probably that's ever existed. And it's all hip hop culture. Hip hop dancing, all those moves is from the quote unquote culture. Look at the ideal woman and how that's changing. That ideal woman is what black men are into, you know, thicker women, women with a little bit more meat or whatever, but women with curves, that is becoming the norm. So this is something that's really interesting, I think, is going on. I think that this is why this is happening. This is why I think you see a lot of this, the changing of your skin tone by these white women. In this specific instance, I think that this is because, look, everybody listens to hip hop now. That you have to think about that. That's going to have an effect on people and their values. So for the most part, I think that black people are winning. I mean, we still got a long way to go. We still getting shot by the cops for no reason a lot of times. But I think that this shows that we are winning. We are on the winning side. So we just got to keep moving forward and be strong and have faith in ourselves. And I think we'll do all right. And the last thing is that even look at the lingo. Like, people used to make fun of Ebonics. But if you think about Ebonics, really what it is it's an efficient way of speaking, because you still know what I'm saying. If I'm saying something in Ebonics, it might not be proper. But just because I speak in Ebonics anyway, doesn't mean I don't know how to speak properly, right? I know how to change things up in different situations. But look, I think white people are starting to figure out, yeah, if you're texting somebody, you don't want to spell out everything. You want to save time, and you're going to start cutting words off, and you're going to use abbreviations in Ebonics. So really, you know, I love how white people like to call something ghetto. But if white people were doing it, it's innovative and resourceful. Nah, we just some resourceful ass people as black people. So I'm going to log out with that. As always, I appreciate you guys. If you hung in here and listened to this rant, I really do appreciate that. If you like this, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and hitting the notifications bell so that you'll be notified every time I put a new video out. And as always, thank you, and stay woke.